Money comes and goes, but if you have the education about how money works, you gain power over it and can begin building wealth. Robert Kiyosaki. Welcome to today's episode, my friend. We're diving into one of the most influential personal finance books of our time, Rich Dad, Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. This isn't just a book about money, it's about mindset. It's about how the way we think about money, work, and life can shape our future. And it's about two very different teachers in Robert Kiyosaki's life. The first teacher is Poor Dad. His biological father, highly educated, hardworking, but financially struggling. Rich Dad, his best friend's father, a man with little formal education, but who became wealthy through entrepreneurship and investing. These two father figures give Robert two very different perspectives on life. One said, go to school, get good grades, find a safe job, and you will be secure. The other said, the rich don't work for money, they make money work for them. Today, we are going to explore the lessons from this book in depth, principles that have changed millions of lives. And I promise you, if you listen carefully and reflect, this could change your financial mindset forever. The two fathers, two philosophies. Let's start with a contrast. Robert's dad was poor. He was the classic image of success in the traditional world, a PhD, a government job, a belief in stability and security. But he also lived paycheck to paycheck. He believed in avoiding risks, following the system, and climbing the ladder. His rich dad, on the other hand, didn't finish school. But he understood money. He believed in creating systems, investing, and making money work for him. He taught Robert that wealth isn't about how much you earn, but how you think and what you do with money. So the key insight is financial education is more important than academic education when it comes to wealth. And that's the foundation of Rich Dad and Poor Dad. The rich don't work for money. One of the first big lessons from Rich Dad was the poor and middle class work for money. The rich have money work for them. Think about it. Most of us are trained to work hard, get a salary, and then spend that salary on expenses. If we earn more, we spend more. It's a cycle, it's a trap. But the wealthy think differently. They look for ways to create income streams that don't depend on their time. That could be through business, investment, real estate, or intellectual property. Robert learned as a child that chasing a paycheck is like running on a treadmill. You are moving fast, but staying in the same place. To escape, you must shift from employee thinking to investor thinking. So, the rat race. Kioski describes what many of us know too well, the rat race. You work hard, get promoted, buy a bigger house, a nice car, and more luxury things. But along with it comes more debt, more bills, more pressure. Poor Dad believed that just life was about salary, work, and obeying the rules that government says. But Rich Dad said, that's the trap. The rat race is endless unless you build assets that generate cash flow. So what are assets? An asset is something that puts money in your pocket. A liability is something that takes money out. A house, for example, is often considered an asset. But if it drains your money through a mortgage, taxes, and repairs, it's really a liability. Real assets are things like rental properties, investments, businesses, stocks, things that earn money for you, even when you are not working. The lesson: focus on buying assets, not liabilities. disguised as assets. The importance of financial education. One of the strongest points of Rich Dad and Poor Dad is that our schools do not teach financial literacy. We're taught algebra, history, literature, maths, but not how to manage money, how to invest, or how to avoid debt. And so, people leave school with degrees but end up struggling financially. Rich Dad told Robert, the most powerful asset you have is your mind. Train it well, and it can create enormous wealth. That means reading books, learning about investing, understanding how taxes work, and building financial intelligence. Knowledge is the foundation. Without it, even if you make money, you lose it. With it, you can even turn small opportunities into wealth. So, next point is work to learn, not to earn. Here is a radical idea from the book. Don't take a job just for the salary, take it for the skills you learn. Roberts Purdat focused on job titles, security, and salaries, which Dad focused on skills. He believed that if you master sales, marketing, accounting, investing, and leadership, you'll always have opportunities to create wealth. Robert himself worked in many different jobs early on, not for money, but to develop skills that would later help him in business. So ask yourself, are you working for a paycheck or you're working for growth? So, overcoming fear and building courage. One of the biggest barriers to financial freedom is fear. Fear of losing money, fear of taking risks, fear of failing. Poor Dad believed in avoiding risks. Rich Dad taught that failure is part of success. Every great entrepreneur, every investor has lost money at some point. The difference is they learned from it, adapted, and kept going. Fear keeps people in jobs they hate and financial struggles they resent. College and education allow you to step out, take calculated risks, and build wealth. Mind your own business. Rich Dad had another crucial lesson. Mind your own business. That doesn't mean ignore your employer. It means don't only build someone else's dream, build your own. Work your job, but also invest in your own assets. Maybe that's real estate, a side business, a stock portfolio, or intellectual property. Over time, these assets grow and replace your paycheck. This is how you escape the rat race. Taxes and the power of corporations. Kiyosaki also explains something most people overlook. The rich play by different rules because they understand taxes. Employees earn money, pay taxes, then spend what's left. The rich earn money through business and investment, spend on business expenses, and then pay taxes on what's left. That's why learning about corporations, tax benefits, and legal structure is critical. The system rewards financial intelligence, taking action. So, all of this knowledge means nothing if you don't act. Rich Dad emphasized don't just sit and study forever. Take small steps, invest a little, start a side business, learn by doing. Mistakes will happen, but each one is a lesson. The poor wait for the right time, the rich create opportunities. So, what's the ultimate message of Rich Dad, Poor Dad? Wealth begins with mindset. Financial education is key. Don't work just for money, make money work for you. Build assets, not liabilities. Take risks, overcome freedom, and keep learning. As Robert Kiyosaki says, the single most powerful asset we'll all have is your mind. If it is trained well, it can create enormous wealth. So ask yourself, are you training your mind for wealth or are you letting fear, habits, and outdated lessons hold you back. Thank you for joining me in this extended breakdown of Rich Dad, Poor Dad. If you found value here, share it with someone who needs this mindset shift. And remember, your financial freedom begins not with money, but with how you think about money. Peace and love, Hamza.